Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with a middleweight contest of 6 3-minute rounds. Firstly, introducing to you in the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the yellow trim, from Southampton, will you please give a warm welcome to Peter Mitchell. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the famous Bristol colours of purple, the current Western Area middleweight champion, Darren Dorrington. At the weigh-in, Mitchell scaled 11 stone 6 pounds, Dorrington 11 stone 10 3/4 pounds. Your timekeeper, Mr. Neil Berder, and the referee, Mr. Grant Wallace. This is 6 3-minute rounds.
In the purple trunks here from Bristol, Darren Dorrington, who's trying to rebuild his career after a couple of bad defeats. He's up against the durable fighter from Southampton, Peter Mitchell, 29, who's been out for 7 months. He's never been stopped, Mitchell. He might provide Dorrington with a decent kind of test, but at the moment, Dorrington is in the business really of rebuilding his confidence, having been stopped by the American southpaw Robert Allen and then outpointed. A shocking defeat for him really against Lee Crocker of Swansea, and that was when he was really being built up, Dorrington. So he just needs to keep on piling up the wins again really at this stage of his career. Dorrington, who's 28 now, from the Chris Sanigar camp in Bristol in these purple trunks here. Those were 2 bad defeats for him though, Glenn.
They were 2 bad defeats, and really he just needs to try and get his confidence back. And it's still not an easy fight for him in Peter Mitchell. Peter Mitchell's been in with some decent fighters, and he's lasted the course with them, so he can be a tough, resistant fighter.
Decent little weight advantage here for Dorrington as well, hitting the scales at 11 stone 10 3/4, nearly 5 pounds more than Mitchell. Mitchell is from the Jack Bishop camp down on the south coast. Looks in good shape. Dorrington was a pretty good amateur. He reached the 1993 ABA final and was beaten there by tonight's bill topper, Joe Calzaghe, who of course was absolutely outstanding, both as amateur and pro. And on the way to that final, Dorrington beat Dean Francis, so there's talent there. Decent uppercut though from Mitchell.
Yes, the record shows Dorrington has got talent. It's just really, I think, his confidence has took quite a setback, and he really needs to establish himself.
Good right hand there from Dorrington. He's caught again by the right hand himself. Just occasionally his own defence looking a bit leaky.
Yes, he just brings the left jab back a little bit slowly. He's not really confident with that jab, and he's just getting caught with the counter right hand from Mitchell.
Just has a tendency to let the gloves drop a bit low, doesn't he? The question really is with Dorrington, have his limitations been firmly exposed, or can he come back from those defeats to re-establish himself? It's a tall order. Certainly needs to be winning this one. So there is Darren Dorrington in the first round. 73 punches thrown by him and 30 landed. He's landed nearly twice as many as Peter Mitchell in the other corner. A little bit of damage underneath the right eye, Glenn.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little nick there, nothing really to worry about. I think he didn't really establish himself firmly on that round. He's just got to do a little bit more. He's got to be a little more confident with that jab. He just tends to be thinking about it as he pushes it off, and Mitchell was countering him with, you know, a few decent right hands as Dorrington brought his left jab back sloppily.
Dorrington actually was from the National Smelting Amateur Boxing Club around here, which is the club which produced one of Bristol's best boxers in recent years, Nick Wilshire. He was a Commonwealth champion and boxed Jimmy Cable unsuccessfully for the British title. Second round then in this middleweight clash. Colour identification for you, Darren Dorrington with his back to you at the moment on the left of the picture now with the purple trunks, the yellow stripe down the shorts for Peter Mitchell, whose pro record so far is 3 wins, 5 defeats and a draw, but as we were saying, nobody stopped him yet. Good right hand from Mitchell, and he followed it up well too. Nice combination from him. Maybe his confidence growing a bit.
Yes, I don't feel like Dorrington's really been forceful enough. He's got to go forward a little more, and he's got to throw a little more venom in them punches, and that's better now. He's just starting to liven up.
Quite good defensive work though from Mitchell, and he's picking his punches quite well and making Dorrington miss a fair bit. And there's that blotch underneath the right eye of Dorrington as well. Bit better from Dorrington, a bit more devil about his work there. Lots of support for him, as you can hear around this arena. He just switches stances for a moment.
But Mitchell coming back with good counters, and he's landed some decent punches of his own, just as Dorrington starts to get a bit of a foothold.
Developing into a decent scrap in the second round. The tempo has certainly been increased. Bit of a cut by the right eye of Mitchell developing. So both sustaining facial damage. There's a hint of the slap about some of these punches from Dorrington.
But Dorrington,
he's got him though. Right hand into the body. Mitchell down.
Dorrington did well there. He just changed his attack to the body.
He was up with the count at 8. It was a body shot, and Dorrington's looking for the body again. Gets through with the right hand, and Mitchell's in bad trouble here at the moment, needing to cover up and buy some time and show some grit. He does that too. You can see why he's never been stopped. But Dorrington wants to be the first to do it.
Well, Mitchell's managed to cover up well to the head, but that was good from Dorrington, just switching the attack to the body.
Cut by the right eye, looks quite nasty now for Mitchell as well. He's run into a heap of problems in this second round. Dorrington is continually looking for those body shots now. Good round for him, bad one for Mitchell here. Confirmation of Peter Mitchell's record. He hasn't won a fight for 14 months. That was November 1995 when he stopped Barry Besant of Portsmouth in 2 rounds down in the West Country.
And Mitchell, he was looking distressed at the end of the round. Just changed tactics, Dorrington. He was going for the head. Mitchell was coping with them, and then switched to the body and found a little bit of weakness down there. Just see it struggling to get out of the way there, but it was an earlier punch which had hurt Mitchell.
Body shots, 18 from Dorrington in that second round and none from Mitchell. There's a telling statistic for you. Third round, Darren Dorrington against Peter Mitchell. Mitchell with the yellow stripe down his shorts and down in the second round. Mitchell has lasted the course with hopefuls like Danny Ryan, Nicky Thurbin, who's now the Southern Area champion, and Darren Sweeney. Usually given a good honest account of himself, but he might do well to get through the 6 rounds here.
Yes, he was looking bad at the end of the second. So I think Mitchell's got to be a little more forceful. He's got to try and go for it and just test the confidence of Dorrington.
For the moment, Dorrington certainly got him on the back foot. Dorrington certainly the harder hitter of the two. That much is apparent. Tough kid, Darren Dorrington. Well, not so much a kid now, is he? 28. Used to play rugby. Former steel worker as well. And as you've been hearing, good amateur, England international as well.
And really, it's in a fight like this against a fight like Mitchell, who's never been stopped, that Dorrington could really do with pulling off a stoppage win, because that would really help his confidence.
Just looking a bit wild though, Dorrington, not really picking the shots for the moment. Better shot that one to the body, but he is slapping a bit. There's a bit of the inside of the glove about some of his work, not all of it.
Dorrington just looking a little tired in this round. His work just becoming a little ragged.
Right eye of Mitchell's is holding up for the moment. Good countering right from Dorrington in that exchange. But he really is at a difficult phase of his career, Darren Dorrington, really. He certainly couldn't afford another unscheduled defeat. Good left hand getting in from Dorrington there. He's letting the leather fly. Not all it's landing very cleanly. In fact, a lot of it's missing. And there's some blood by the right eye now of Dorrington, which he's wiping away at. So a swelling under the right eye and a cut above it as well. So both of them have got cut eyes.
Yes, he just come out of that just with a little cut after that little exchange. This has been a better round for Mitchell, who's tried hard to get himself back in this fight.
But it's hard to see what Mitchell has got really by way of weaponry to win this fight with. Chris Senegal having to do some more work there on the face of Darren Dorrington. He didn't need this either, really, did he?
No, he didn't really need a cut. I'm not sure if the heads clashed. It was just a little exchange. He came out with the cut, but both men marked up, we see. But Mitchell, a gutsy performance. He's trying hard. He come back well from the knockdown just to re-establish himself a little bit in that round.
Dorrington has won his last two against Peter Vosper and Ernie Loveridge, stopping Vosper, beating Loveridge on points. Trying to make it a third consecutive win on the comeback trail here, having taken a break after those two difficult defeats he had. Fourth round of this six-rounder. Dorrington from the South Mead area of Bristol in the purple trunks, the yellow stripe down the shorts of Southampton's Peter Mitchell. I think it has to be said, Glenn, Dorrington at times has looked a useful and certainly a tough and brave fighter in his career, but at the moment he hasn't shown any signs that he's really on the verge of moving into British Championship contention or anything like that in this division, has he?
No, he hasn't. And just as this fight's gone on, he just seemed to have lost a little bit of enthusiasm when he didn't stop Mitchell in the second round. And he needs to do a little bit more work. You could just see he could let things slip a little bit. He just loses. It just seems as if at times he loses that little bit of interest.
Mitchell following up the jab with a decent looking right hand, but he does look a comparatively light hitter, it has to be said. The jab tends to be not much more than a rangefinder. Needs to get busier and show more ambition and devil here, Mitchell, if he's really going to get into this fight seriously, unless of course the cut stops Dorrington. His cut now looks worse than Mitchell's.
It does. It looked in between rounds. It looked quite a bad one.
Again, Dorrington getting hit by right hands, and against better class of opposition, you wonder really what the consequence of that kind of openness might be.
Yes, you feel a better class of fighter would really make him pay. He does drop the left hand quite considerably.
Something for them maybe to think about in the gym. Some decent boxing by Mitchell in this round, trying to use his jab. Needs to get a good deal busier. Missing again. Dorrington's worried by that cut. Keeps pouring away at it, doesn't he?
He keeps dabbing at it and his work's dropped off. You just feel that it's about the time of the fight where he needs to try and pick up the pace, try and put a few combinations together, and as yet he's unable to do that.
This is Mitchell's best round yet. Dorrington hasn't really managed to club him around in this round. Again, a good shot from Mitchell towards the end of the round. Sharper, more accurate work. I think that was Mitchell's round.
Yes, I think that was a little bit more confident from Mitchell. I think he won the round. Certainly, Dorrington just a little bit upset, I think, by the cut. Keeps dabbing at that. That's just knocked him off his rhythm. And there you see Mitchell just getting the best of that little exchange, finishing well with that left.
Laboured in that round, Darren Dorrington. And Mitchell, give him credit, he's picked up well in that fourth round. The impression confirmed by the computer, he landed more punches in that round, threw more too. And that right eye is a problem. Ooh, that looks nasty, doesn't it?
It looks a bad one. It was just starting to bleed quite heavily at the end of the round. I think that's disturbing him a little.
Hope you finished your tea at home. Fifth round. And the slight question really whether that right eye of Darren Dorrington's will hold out for the last 6 minutes. The referee Grant Wallace just taking a slightly closer look at it. It's the last thing Dorrington needs as he tries to rebuild. Mitchell's growing in confidence at the moment. He certainly would be behind on the scorecards.
Yes, he is on my card. Mitchell's behind. But Dorrington just in danger of letting this slip away a little bit. He needs to build a good attack up again. Mitchell just growing in confidence.
Decent left hand from Dorrington. Just stepping in and getting a bit closer rather than letting Mitchell pick him off with the jab. Mitchell's using that left jab far more now and getting busier with it. And not a bad right hand. There's a left hook. Better shot from Dorrington. That's what he needs. Oh, decent right hand that from Peter Mitchell. And again, that left glove low. And Dorrington leaving himself open. Now he's going for the body shots. There's a real old tear up in there at the moment. Now the referee wants a timeout. Wants something, I don't know what he really wants. He's having some blood wiped away from the eye, but it doesn't look any worse than any of the damage we've seen for either fighter. Is it so far? No, it's over. It's over. In the fifth round, Darren Dorrington becomes the first man to stop Peter Mitchell, albeit on cuts. But Dorrington's own cut isn't exactly a pretty sight. Haven't really had a chance to get a close-up look of Mitchell's cut. It obviously worsened as that round went on. And there's cuts by both eyes.
Yes, and Mitchell's looks very bad on the left eye. That looks a long cut right underneath the eyebrow. But it was really developing in that round into a very good fight, and they were really getting stuck in there.
Hammer and tong stuff in that fifth round.
Well, I think Mitchell at the beginning was getting the better of it. Good left hook there from Dorrington. But Dorrington just got spurred into a bit of action, started to throw a lot more punches, and Mitchell came out with a much worse cut.
He looked, didn't he, Dorrington, as if he just lost his rag with Mitchell in playing terms for a bit.
He did. It looked as if probably that's what he needed to do at that stage in the fight, just to get a little bit of anger and really go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 30 seconds of round 5, Peter Mitchell having sustained the damage to both eyes, your winner, Darren Dorrington. And your appreciation for unfortunate loser indeed, Peter Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man, it's freezing in here.
Yeah, Dad's got the thermostat on its winter setting, 58 degrees.
Stupid cheap Dad. Making us wear sweaters like a bunch of stupid sheep.
He doesn't care if we freeze. He gets to stand next to